Hello everyone, this is Randy, your sewing machine man, and what we're looking at now is a Pfaff 297. You say Pfaff, I say Pfaff. If I say Pfaff, you say Pfaff. It's the name you'll always be corrected on because it's pronounced one way or the other. I'm convinced of that. Not a bad little machine. If you see one of these for sale, and you can go pick it up after you've sat and sewn on it, and it has all the accessories, and it has the bobbin case, which is down under here. If you get one of these without the bobbin case, get ready to spend $125, maybe more, depending on who has it, whether it's available. It's a nice setup, but you have to have a bobbin case if you're going to sew with a sewing machine. A lot of times these will show up without a bobbin case because it got put in a box somewhere when grandma went to assisted living, and nobody knows where it's at. It's somewhere being sold separately, so make sure you have the bobbin case. If you get one of these and you want to do some light oiling on it, just stay away from the motor over here, which sits over here on this side, accessible through the bottom. If you want to oil it up, this side cover on the side over here comes off. Pull it from the bottom, pull it from the top, not from the bottom, and it pops off like so. There's no screws holding it in place. When you go to put it back on, there's a little slot right here that lines up with a little deal right there. The little deal sticks out right there. And go to put it back on, you bring it up so it fits in that slot, and I'm doing this in the blind here behind the camera, and then you snap it back in place. Now take the top off. There's one screw in the back. The top lifts off. It's a very snug fit. I always take this off first. You can get the top off. Take the one screw out. It's a snug fit. Lift it up. Of course, anything that hinges, slides, rotates, or pivots, give it a drop of oil. Use your extended spout oiler with your genuine sewing machine oil made by the people who make sewing machine oil. There's no brand name that's specific, better than the other. Just use sewing machine oil. It's a highly refined mineral oil, just like water. Stainless, doesn't stain. Very, very nice stuff. Sewing machine oil. So put a drop here and there. Just stay away from your bob winder ring over here. Don't get it all oily. That generally does not need oil. If it is, it's a half a drop. Instead of a drop, a half a drop usually does the job. This is your dial up here for different patterns. You're going to have your, like down here, you got your straight stitch, your zigzag, your three-step elastic stretch. It's got some nice stitches, and just a good basic little machine. Nothing crazy. That does have some nylon gears in it. It's got a main nylon drive gear right here, a big old flywheel looking thing with a nylon gear there driving a metal one. And up in the top, some of your pattern cams, and down here some of your feed, and then your drop feed is a nylon on a metal shaft, and it has to be serviced or it'll hang up. This is the button down here for the drop feed. You push that down and you slide it to the right, your feeders drop. And then if the machine's been serviced and that shaft has oil on it, you push it to the down and back to the right, and it'll pop back up. But if not, it'll be stubborn. You have a screw right there, and you can take this whole panel off. It's always a good idea to take your presser foot off first so nothing hangs up. Take the presser foot off, raise it, take your presser foot off, and take this screw, and this panel gets off, and you get total access to everything that needs oiled. And if you're going to drop your feeders, be prepared to take that apart and get it oiled and put it back together before they raise back up, because they'll just stay down forever. It's just the way it goes if it's not serviced, because that nylon sits on that metal and it won't slide without any oil. It just will not. Over here on the right, you have your standard run-of-the-mill, been working forever, works like a charm, hand wheel release, clutch on the side. That's the way I prefer them. Bobbin winds up on top. Here's your guide over here. Shows you how to bring it around, wind it on there. We'll wind one of those in a second so you can see how to wind it. Let's see, what else I was going to tell you about real quick. Oh, let's see, it's got the stitch width, stitch length, 3 needle position, stitch function. Every machine's going to have a stitch function. What stitch is it going to do? And none of them will do it until you add width. If you add width, you'll get the definition of the stitch. Sometimes you'll add length or shorten it. That's your lever reverse. This machine has a lot of space-age materials, as we used to say at Singer, which is plastic. They would not let us say the word plastic. We say space-age materials. And of course, in the 70s, when this machine was thriving and doing real well, a lot of plastic, tons of it. And it's not a bad little machine. If you can get one of these and get it at a reasonable price, if you can grab one of these for $100, $150, get it serviced, and don't do anything goofy like sew on heavy stuff with a high thread count, like denim, canvas, goofy things people sew on and tear their machines up. It's a garment machine. It's for sewing high-speed garments. and it does a real nice job. It's very precise. Made in West Germany, and while I'm on that subject, down underneath, there's a little peek hole down there where you peep through, and you'll say, let's see, down here, let's come back here. There's a peephole right there, and it'll say, do you want to run it European power, or do you want US power, or in between? There's 3 little settings there, so you can get your 110, your 220. So it's a around the world accessible machine. It'll go wherever you want it to go and do a real nice job. But if you get one of these and it goes, you plug it in, it's going really, really slow, and you're like, what in the heck is going on? Look underneath, turn your little dial, put a little screwdriver in there, has a little pointer, it'll point to wherever you want it to do. The right, if you're in the United States, you're gonna want the 110, 115 range, snapping onto that. All right, let's do a real quick thread and a real quick wind the bobbin, because if you get one of these and you've never laid eyes on one, you'll need to know stuff like the standard Singer needle goes in with the long groove facing the operator, long groove, the length of the needle, flat side to the back, push it all the way up in, because if you don't push it all the way up to the stop point, it doesn't matter how you have it inserted, it will not sew. All the way up to the stop point, flat side to the back, long groove to the front, and of course when you thread it, you got your spool pins in the back. That's where your thread's going to originate from. Back there is where it's going to originate. I have it coming from my spool stand because it just works best for me to do it that way. So coming from back here, let's start from back here just for sake of argument. You have a thread guide here. Boom. Presser foot's always up. Step 1 is always raise the presser foot up. Raise the presser foot up, it opens the discs that are here to accept the thread. If you don't raise the presser foot first, you've already misthreaded your machine. No matter what you do, it's going to come out wrong. Step 1, raise the presser foot, come in from the right-hand side, get between the disc, I always hold it, and click. Click, hear that little click? That means it got behind the check spring, and that's when you always lower it, pull, make sure it feels like someone has a hold of it and won't let go. And with almost every machine ever made, it's going to be 4. 4 is going to be your range. And to continue the threading process, we go right to left through the take-up lever, like that, and then down to the needle. There's a thread guide on this one to the right, and then you go right straight through, front to back. We're not going to thread it. You know I know how to thread it, but at this distance, I'll just embarrass myself, so I've learned not to do that. Straight through, front to back. Now, to wind the bobbin, make sure you have the correct bobbin. If you have the wrong bobbin, chances are it's not gonna wind. The bobbin for this one is a Pfaff bobbin. See, it has the indentation, has the ridge. If you go online looking for a bobbin, it's gotta look like this, and it's gotta have this notch right here, top and bottom. It has the notch, and that notch fits up here on your bobbin winder. Your bobbin winder has a notch on it, and when you put the bobbin on, it snaps down into, like that, into that notch, so it'll drive it. If you don't have that in the notch, it's not going to work. You have the wrong bobbin. So let's wind the bobbin, shall we? Okay, we're going to disengage the hand wheel over here on the side. So when we spin the bobbin, it'll spin. All right, so we've got the hand wheel disengaged. I always come from the front all the way around to the back and around the thread guide over here. That's the thread guide. Let's slide it over. That's the thread guide. I go completely around from the front to the back, so you get full contact there. So that little pinch point grabs it and it holds it. Now you go around to the bobbin itself, cut some of this excess off, go around to the bobbin itself, and I always, whenever I can, take it around 1, 2, 3 times, and then I put it up through the hole that's going to be opposite from the one that's down on the notch. There's going to be a notch on the top, so I put it right up through that little hole like so, and I get a hold of it, drop it a couple times, look like a semi-professional, drop it, and have it coming out the very top like that. Oh, good. Well, my hands are they have no moisture on them because I'm out here in the cold. It's only 12 degrees, so, you know. Snap it down on, hold this in place, take it over, all right? Now you're gonna spin it, and it spins. It'll cut that thread loose. Almost always it happens without fail. You cut that loose, then all your threads are contained inside the metal. So nothing's sticking out, causing a drag and causing a malfunction in your tension. It'll make a bad stitch. It'll make the bottom resistance way high, throws your tension way off. Now you can adjust this over here to rotate around to pivot for a full cut off, half cut off. The screw in the center, you loosen it ever so slightly. You don't loosen it too much or the nut will fall down inside and then there's a disaster. So just loosen it slightly and then this will rotate back and forth to set your how much you want. You want to do a bunch of half fulls or totally fulls, whatever you want to do. So take it like that, take it off, boom. Let's put it in the bobbin case so you know what that's all about. Take the one that's in here out, snip it, bring it up. Here's your bobbin case. And you have the right bobbin to fit in the bobbin case like so, and it's going to go in so it's turning as the opening's facing you. It's going to be turning clockwise. Some are clockwise, some are counterclockwise. This one's clockwise. It's going to come down to the notch and the notch out the top. Hold the bobbin case so you're not touching the bobbin, so it'll turn. And a Pfaff runs with very light tension on the bottom. That's just something they're known for. A lot of machines run with a pretty stout tension. Some are in between, but you get a feel for it. And when you go to put it on, of course, you snap it onto the little post sticking out. It's facing you right there. Make sure there's no thread in there. Make sure it's all clear. Tilt it back, snap it on this post right there. Snap it on. As long as you have a hold of the release, it won't fall out. You have a hold of the latch. You put it on there. You see the little notch right there on the side. It's going to be off to the side. You're going to push it in, and you'll hear a snap. It's always going to be flush on the end. That's how you know you got it in there correctly, and you won't have a malfunction. There's a lot of things that'll cause malfunctions, and they're tiny little things. Just, you don't know, you don't know. So if you know, you know. So I'll tell you all these little things. Helpful hints. Grab one of these somewhere. First thing you do is you put that tension on 4. Your tension's going to be good. If it makes a bad stitch, it's going to be something in the threading, misthreading, wrong needle, needling wrong, bobbin not loaded properly. It's going to be something simple. It's not going to be something hard. These are good basic machines. Don't stress them. Don't try to sew on something they're not designed to sew on. You can probably sew light garment leather, suede and things like that. Get a leather needle. But when you hear the needle going thump, 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 that's a warning you're on thin ice. This time of year, people know about ice and thin ice. You don't want to be on it, or else you'll get wet and it's cold and it's a disaster. So this is not a bad little machine. You pick one up and get it from the original owner, get all the book and accessories, get all the doodads, get it in a flatbed. I think the 296 is a flatbed. This is a free arm 297. I'm not positive about that. I could be wrong. But great little machines. I used to sell the heck out of these back in the day, and everybody that got them liked them a lot, and they kept them within their parameters of operation and mobilities. And here's one sitting here. Looks like it just came out of the box. Someone's taking good care of it. These are very pricey machines in the day, and when you take care of them, they'll last you a long time. Just don't break your nylon gears. All right? Pfaff 297. Thanks.